So, hello, Tim. When I used to listen to the radio, I would like drive to a bunch of different places. Um, and I remember listening to the new Mike in the Morning, which was not
Mm.
Mike Golick and his son. I can't remember what that was called. Wingo and Golick, whatever, something like that. And at one point, they were talking about how often do you clean your sheets, like your bed sheets, and there was like crazy differences in numbers, right? So some people do it like once a week, some people do it bi-monthly, some people like once every 6 months. And it was just like I guess like the father did it like once every 6 months, because when he did it, like Golick Senior, and the kid was like, I do it every week or every 2 weeks or something like that. And I just thought that was hilarious,
And
because
guys in college probably do it once every 4 years.
I'm
Maybe
thinking
maybe
about,
maybe once a year.
well,
When they bring their sheets home when they have to move out for the summer, I'm sure
no, you
mom
probably
will
take
take
out
care
you.
of them.
I would think that like I probably took mine home. I don't know. It's just interesting. We're grateful and delighted to be joined today by Lee Sheridan of a great company. We had him a few, October
October 11th
11th,
is what you said, yeah.
2020. He's with
Episode
Two Maids.
27.
What did you say? Episode 27. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask you how often you clean your sheets. That's personal information. You don't need to know when I do. But I know that that's an offer that something that Lee does with Two Maids, and it's something that has been very helpful for them, kind of as a, what would you call that? A turn down service? What do you call that when you like wash people's sheets type of thing, Lee?
It's called doing stuff people don't want to do. It reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where they asked Kramer, how often do you clip your fingernails or your toenails? And he says, between every 3 and 17 weeks. So I think that's the answer that you get with regards to sheets as well.
Is there a time, like, is there a preferred time that you're supposed to do it? Are on the sheets, so like on that little tag, does it say clean these every once in a while? Like,
I don't think there's
any time that you suffer from meat sweats would be a decent time.
Yeah, I'd probably say weekly would be recommended.
Okay, so why is it though that we clean our clothes basically daily, but not our sheets? Why do you think that is?
Well, mainly because it's a significant pain, right? Like it's really easy to take your shirt off, but to strip the bed and take the sheets off and undo it and then bundle it up and put it into a washing machine that it doesn't fit into, so you got to do 2 or 3 loads, and then you got to dry it, and it turns into this big ball, and everything balls together. You got to separate it and then put it back in. So that's why people don't do it, because it's a pain.
And stripping the bed isn't as bad. It's remaking the bed is which, and it's not fun.
No, nope.
But you've capitalized on that.
Yeah, so it's a service offering that we are expanding into. We have a short-term rental business. I have another business called Beach Hospitality Services, where we provide equipment and services to short-term rentals. So think of, we'll lease out sheets, towels, blankets, duvets, duvet covers, bath mats, shower curtains, paper products, soap, shampoo, conditioner. We'll stock the kitchen with kitchen towels and kitchen soap and things like that. Then we provide a teardown service. So Two Maids A Mop will come in and strip everything off the beds, clean the place. We'll bring clean linens and whatnot. We'll essentially provide end-to-end service for an Airbnb or short-term rental. We bring all that stuff back to our operation here. We have commercial washers and dryers. So when we talk about doing those beds, my commercial washer and dryer I could fit 10 king beds in one load, and so it's done from start to finish, wash and dry, in an hour and 20 minutes. So we can do that, and we maintain all that equipment here for those customers.
If I had rental property, I think that would be the only way that I could do it. I mean, that I couldn't see doing it any other way.
Yeah, it's kind of a set it and forget it mentality, right? So when people call and ask like, hey, can you clean our Airbnb? Yeah, we can clean it, but we can also do this, and this. They're like, oh, okay, so I don't have to do anything. No, you just
So
got
is
to
that's just a standard upsell that's probably part of your sales funnel that you're working?
It is. Yep. And it's something that we haven't really promoted that much because until recently, before we purchased the building, we didn't have the infrastructure for it, right? So we would do it in passing, right? If somebody said, "Hey, can you do this?" Yeah, we can do it. And I outsourced it to a third party. But at this point, because it's a lot more economical to have that equipment, under one roof. So yeah, we are now offering it a little bit more aggressively, and so that's through another company that I own. Like I said, Beach Hospitality, and we need to build out that website so it's a little bit more transactional. And we just haven't done it yet because I didn't have the infrastructure until recently, and I didn't want to be too far ahead of it, right? So,
do you have to? Can someone just get things cleaned, or do they have
oh,
to
absolutely, we're going to
yeah,
offer that. Yeah, we're going to start offering
standalone?
that on the commercial side. And then, we have 540, I could look and see what the number is today. It was like 540 recurring customers that were in every week, every other week, once a month. So we're going to start offering that laundry service to them, but strictly for bedding, right? I don't want to get into anything else because we're going to be there, right? So if we're there, we can essentially pick it up. We could bring it back the same day, turn and burn it, and bring it back within the next, 48 hours. And we could do your whole entire house in one load, and it's just done.
Are you still in just Virginia, or have you expanded to the Outer Banks as well?
No, we're just South Side, so we're primarily South Side. We haven't expanded into North Carolina. There's a couple of great companies down in the Outer Banks, and as you guys know, it's like getting in and out of Sandbridge on a Saturday in the summertime, right? It's a bottleneck. There's one way in, one way out. Same thing with the Outer Banks. If you're not already down there, it's tough to get in and out. So we're at this point, we're kind of staying, where we're at and servicing this community.
It's interesting that you came to that conclusion because I think a lot of people would look at an opportunity and be like, oh, I got to be there. That's where people do this thing. And I don't know if you just, weighed some pros and cons or what, but as soon as you said that, and I try to go in on a non-Saturday day, by the way, because the one time I went there on a Saturday, it was like 4 hours of just like absolute nonsense. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I can't do anything. This is terrible. And so if you had to have your team go down there, pick that up, that's a real pain in the tail. I guess the only way that you could make this happen is if you had a North Carolina HQ down there.
Right.
But I appreciate that because I think a lot of people have a lot of ideas. Let's do this. This makes a lot of sense. But then when you start pulling back the onion, if you will, you realize, maybe this isn't the greatest of concepts conceptually right now. So
right, and it's just logistically, it's a nightmare. It's like making the decision that my wife and I are going to go out to dinner at the oceanfront on a Friday evening. Right, it's a great idea until you get to Atlantic. You're not getting anywhere anytime soon. You're missing your reservation. So, it's just I know what it's going to look like on Saturday, and navigating down there on those days is difficult enough. Same with our staff that's down at the oceanfront on a Friday or Saturday doing Airbnbs or doing just our residential customers. You have to account for the logistical nightmare that the oceanfront is, So I'd rather stay away from that for a bit.
I've got a question from Matt Castillo. He wants to know if you're going to be able to integrate into anything with Airbnb from the scheduling of your services. Do they allow third parties to pop into that? I guess would be the first question. And then if they do, are you looking at somehow trying to integrate with that? So
first off, Matt is a great guy. Matt, his wife and I used to work together years ago. So awesome seeing that Matt is on. Matt's a tremendous guy. He's got a tremendous family and a fantastic wife. So thanks, Matt. So we are not automating that at this time. So you can schedule your own cleaning at Two Maids A Mop online, either Two Maids A Mop Virginia Beach or Two Maids A Mop at Chesapeake. You can go and schedule your own cleaning online. It's a live, essentially it's going to mimic what our schedule is. But for the Airbnbs, because it's a little bit more delicate from a scheduling perspective, we are having those conversations with those hosts so that we can make sure that we integrate it into our schedule effectively, because those things, we can go into an Airbnb that's, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and we can turn it pretty quick, or we can go to an Airbnb that's, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths that, 15 people have stayed in, and we're going to need to adjust that time accordingly so that we do the job properly.
Man, that's I had my next question prepped and ready to go, but I mean, just what a daunting task of following in someone that had 15. I mean, boy, that's a lot of people and a lot of mess to potentially have to clean up.
Yeah, and we counsel those Airbnb individuals, right? Like those hosts. We just let them know, like, listen, you got to have your rules dialed in, right? So you got to have your rules, where no parties after 10, no more than X amount of people, and the short-term rental restrictions in Virginia Beach are fairly significant, right? So they're really tight on that. So, but we do tell our customers that it's pretty imperative that you set the expectation that either strip the beds or don't strip the beds. But if you're going to strip the beds, tell people to put everything in a certain area. Empty the fridge, all these little things that like you probably be like, oh, you leave the Airbnb and you're done, right? There's rules that people need to abide by, and that rating system that goes back and forth between guest and host is pretty effective, right? So, and we play a part in that, where we can say, hey, listen, like, we walked in and your guest, did everything they were supposed to do and did a great job, or wow, your place was a train wreck when we got there.
Well, when that happens, isn't there some sort of, like, I don't know, demerit points where you got to get paid? They got to pay you for something like that. I mean, I can just think of, like, Uber rides that go wrong, and you got to pay for that if something happens there. Like, I feel like the Airbnb, if it's left trashed, there's like $150 fee on top of that. There already is a cleaning fee in some of those cases. Like, is there things on top of that?
So when you book, I think you'll probably see that there's a cleaning fee that's burned into your price.
Yeah.
And so that's why we talk to our customers beforehand and let them know, like, hey, listen, this is what it's going to be. So when you charge a cleaning fee, you shouldn't be losing money, right? So that should be a wash. So what we also tell them is that if we walk in and it's egregious, then yeah, there's going to be an upcharge. But here's kind of the thing with our pricing is that at the end of the day, we want to be fair and equitable, right? And I say that with, whether you're my vendor or my partner or my customer, it needs to be fair and equitable, right? So my opinion of that and your opinion of that may be two entirely different things. But when I look at it is that we have kind of a base price that we're going to do your place for, and we're going to tailor that price based on your place. I understand that sometimes I'm going to win, where we're going to go in there and I'm going to budget, let's say 2 hours, clean the place, and we're going to be done in an hour. Okay. I'm also comfortable with the fact that I'm going to lose sometimes, right? That we're going to budget 2 hours, and sometimes we're going to be in there for 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 15 minutes, right? So am I losing money? Well, it's not so much, but it does screw up the schedule. So I'm comfortable with I'm going to win and lose sometimes, and hopefully my customers are as well. But when we walk into it, it looks like Animal House. Hey, listen, we're going to make a phone call and, maybe take some pictures, do some video or FaceTime and say, hey, listen, this is what your place looks like. It's going to take an extra amount of time. And here's a flat rate for that extra amount of time. And at the end of the day, we do it in a timely manner so that you can report those individuals to, Airbnb, VRBO, whatever. So we're going to do it in a timely manner so you can report them. Any additional costs, for the most part, you can assess it at that time. So we partner with our customers along those lines. So, they're within those parameters that Airbnb or VRBO sets out for them.
Do you typically have the same crew go to the same house or same residence time and time again, or is it rotate out?
So from a residential perspective, that's our objective, right? Because they get familiar with the house, and the customer gets familiar with them. So from a residential perspective, we want to make sure we're sending the same people to the same houses, in that rotation. Mm-hmm. Now, is that realistic? Not really. We have staff turns over. I mean, this is a transient type business. Yep. It's a revolving door. While we've been very, very lucky to have some people stay for quite some time, and we've got a tremendous team of 30 cleaners out in the field now. It's difficult to. I can't guarantee it, and I won't guarantee it. And I tell people all the time, if somebody guarantees that they're going to send the same people all the time to do your cleaning, the only thing they're guaranteeing is that's going to be them that's coming out to clean your house. So don't accept that guarantee. And if somebody does guarantee that, it means they probably don't have a business, right, where they're licensed, bonded, and insured. It might be a small mom and pop, and they only have a couple of customers. We try and do that, but if we can't send the exact same team, we're going to try and at least send one of those people who's familiar with your house.
Because I'm thinking things just in the sense of like, if you could track on your end, for example, hey, it's been 6 months, it's time for us to let's pull out the refrigerator and clean behind there, or once a year, or every 6 months, let's clean the dryer vent or something like that. Or if you had people that, or you collected that data, that would, to me, that would be an easy upsell. Be like, yep, last thing I want to do is pull my dryer out and clean out that, and then it's just a way to continue to track that information and increase your take.
Yeah, and it's good information to have. But I had 23 years in insurance. We have some fairly rigid restrictions with regards to what we can and cannot do from like a workers' comp perspective or from a liability perspective. And while we can clean appliances, we can't use appliances and we can't move appliances. So we partner with other folks that can do that, right? So if somebody needs their dryer vent cleaned, hey, I got somebody in my back pocket that we can do that. And we send out a newsletter on a monthly basis, and we usually showcase one business in that newsletter that is like a home services business, right? So we did an organizer, we did like Closet Factory, we did a pet sitting service. I think this month we're doing an exterior washing company, or we might be doing a pest control company this newsletter. But there's things that what I can't do, that's fine. You'll never have to make another phone call. You can always call Two Maids A Mop, and we'll point you in the direction of somebody who's licensed, bonded, insured, vetted. People that I would do business with is who I'm going to recommend you do business with.
I always wondered why you did that. Because to me, when you put stuff like that into the email, you're adding complexity to something that was unnecessary. And so you articulating it here, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because I remember seeing it maybe in January, and I think it was the organization one, and I was just like, why is he promoting someone else in this thing? And so maybe it just wasn't clear in that it's, hey, these are friends of the business type of thing. Right. But when you articulate it like that, I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. It's friends of the firm. Here are things that you're probably going to want to do to keep your health, your house healthy. And there you go. So it makes sense now. No, I get it.
Yeah. And again, and a lot of this is based on scar tissue, right? So, hey, we've helped people organize before. And that person's still calling me, asking me where their spatula is. I don't know.
Do you know where my socks go? Like, how can I find my socks? Because I bought some like $15 pairs of socks, which seems like a lot for me, like these running socks. I can't find one pair of them, and it pisses me off. So, like, apparently there's a hidden trap door somewhere in the laundry machine. How do I get to this?
Yeah, it's not here. I tell you, we don't have it here.
Are you sure?
I'm certain.
They're pink.
Well,
I'm absolutely certain.
That was always one of our biggest challenges. We flirted around with having someone clean the house a while ago, and one of the issues that we had is that they would try to organize the house in ways that they thought served us better. Oh. And then when they would leave, it was like to your point, Lee, where's the spatula? It's like next thing you know, everything's all in different spots, and we're like, man, we can't have this. It's like,
yeah, and it's. And a lot of it is, staying in your wheelhouse, right? So, we're not, I don't want my staff going out there to organize because everybody's going to do something a little bit different, right? So, we have a cleaning system that we use. We have a communication system that we use. We have the Airbnb system that we use. We have a laundry system that we use. And it's pretty easy, right? It's duplicable. It's easy to learn. Everybody can adjust to it. And if you're here for 2 weeks, you can, it's not hard. You can figure out. And if you don't, we'll help you. But it's really about staying in your wheelhouse. And I don't want to organize. Mm-hmm. There's certain things that we just, we're not good at. And there's too many variables. So we just stay out of it.
Are you stuck at your home office, socially distanced coffee shop, or your fancy all bricked out corner office, wondering why no one can see your business and sales are all over the place? Sounds like you need a pro. That's why I developed the Anomaly Academy. Insert clever copy here. Oh, I guess I was supposed to put something else there. Oops. You can grab access to the Anomaly Academy now at zackmillersays.com/Anomaly Academy.